자, 그러면 3월 22일 수요일 모닝 헤드라인스 뉴스캐스터 레이와 함께 시작합니다.
Korea's exports plunged 17.4% in the first 20 days of March from a year ago, amid the protracted downcycle in the global semiconductor industry, according to data from the Korea Customs Service.
관세청 자료에 따르면 세계 반도체 경기 침체가 장기화되고 있는 가운데 이달 20일까지 우리나라 수출 실적이 지난해와 비교해 17.4% 감소한 것으로 나타났습니다.
The Korean government has revised down its 2030 targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the industrial sector, but maintained its national goal of cutting emissions by 40% of 2018 levels in what it called a reasonable adjustment.
정부는 2018년 대비 2030년 탄소 배출량을 총 40% 줄이겠다는 기존 계획은 유지하면서 산업 부문의 온실가스 감축 목표치는 하향 조정했습니다.
Russia and China have issued a joint statement following summit talks, stressing that responsible dialogue is the best way for a sustainable resolution of the Ukrainian crisis.
러시아와 중국이 모스크바에서 열린 정상회담을 통해 공동 성명을 발표하고 우크라이나 전쟁 종식을 위한 책임 있는 대화를 강조했습니다.
The French government has narrowly survived a vote of no confidence, which was triggered when it forced through an increase in the pension age to 64.
연금 수령 연령을 64세로 인상하는 연금 개혁 법안 강행으로 발의된 프랑스 총리에 대한 불신이 많이 간소한 차이로 부결됐습니다.
A major media outlet in Argentina has underscored the growing presence of Korea's pop culture in the region by shining the spotlight on 10 global Hallyu stars to follow.
아르헨티나의 유명 일간지가 한국 대세 배우 10명을 집중 조명해 화제가 되고 있습니다. And those are our headlines today.
Morning Headline Expressions.
From the headlines today, we looked at this expression, exports plunging.
Plunged. I don't know if anyone can just see how your hand movement there, straight down.
Plunging into the swimming pool.
Think about that. You
Yeah.
jump off a rock or you jump off the diving board.
Do you like doing that?
I used to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to. But like I don't know. I'm not a very good swimmer. I don't really like swimming.
아, 그렇군요. 수영할 때 이렇게 그냥 뭐 다이빙 할 수도 있고 그냥 물에 풍덩 들어갈 수도 있고 플런징 많이 할 수도 있잖아요, 여름에. That's plunging.
Yes,
Yeah.
going deep into the water.
Yes.
In this case, we're talking about exports plunging. So they
Yes,
fell by
that's right.
quite a lot, just over 17%.
Exactly. Plunge. That means to drastically drop. The next expression is reasonable adjustment.
You make an adjustment, you make a change. It's reasonable. It's sensible. It's understandable. It's not a stretch to make that type of a change, I would say.
If I was being unreasonable, I might
Right.
say, Ray, so can I have your car?
Can I have it? Yeah, exactly.
That would
Just
be-
give it to me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Just give me your car.
a little bit unreasonable.
Very unreasonable.
Yeah.
그렇죠. 정말 말도 안 되죠. 그럴 때 unreasonable 쓸 수 있고 아니면 이건 제가 정말 극단적인 예를 든 거지만 어떤 negotiation이 있을 때 I would like a 10% raise, 20% raise. That could be reasonable.
Sure, exactly. But if it's like I want you to double my income. It's
I
like
want a 200% raise.
yeah,
That's
it's like well,
unreasonable.
that's a little bit unreasonable.
그래요. 그래서 합리적이다라는 의미가 있는데 unreasonable은 그 반대고요. 그냥 말이 된다, 말이 안 된다 이런 느낌으로 일상 대화에서 많이 씁니다.
And we use that phrase if someone is acting like that, you can say, "Hey, be reasonable."
너 왜 그래? 그러지 마. Be reasonable. 좀 제대로 행동 좀 해봐. 라는 느낌으로 많이 쓰는데 여기서는 reasonable adjustment. 합리적인 조정. 이라는 표현이 나왔고요. 그 다음으로 issue a joint statement.
Well, if you issue any type of a statement, you give that statement. Now, when you hear joint, it means together.
Yeah.
So there's two parties. So you'll see this. You can have a joint bank account with your husbands and wives can have, or partners like in Western countries can have
공동,
joint accounts.
그렇죠. 공동 계좌를 joint account라고 하는 거죠. joint anything 그러면 공동이라는 뜻이 있을 수 있어요. 그런데 issue a joint statement는 공동 성명을 발표하는 겁니다. And the next expression is to force through.
Right. So we were talking about legislation in
Yeah.
France in this case. They pushed it through without having to vote on it. But we can look at this word force through or push through. If there's a big crowd and you have to get to the other side, you're going to push your way. You're going to use some power. You're going to use force to make your way through the crowd.
Exactly. So literally speaking, you can force yourself through a crowd of people. 사람이 정말 많을 때 이렇게 팔꿈치로 사람들을 밀고 나갈 수 있잖아요, 앞으로. 그런 것도 force through지만 좀 비유적으로는 강행하다의 의미로 많이 씁니다. Now, the last expression is growing presence.
Well, if something grows, it increases, it expands, and then presence is that something is somewhere. So it can be, so we were talking about Korean culture.
Yeah.
So there's a growing presence of Korean culture in, it was Argentina, I
Yes,
think, right?
that's right.
So that means you can see more Korean things, TV shows, perhaps maybe even more restaurants and things like that. I noticed quite a Korean presence when I was in China a few years ago. Korean actors advertising for like chimek places in China because I heard it got really famous on the K-dramas.
Yes,
and Jun Ji-hyun, who I was a big fan of.
Yeah.
I go, hey, that's Jun Ji-hyun, like, you know, on an advertisement in China.
그랬군요. 거기 외국에 나갔을 때 한국의 존재감이나 영향력을 느꼈다. 이런 얘기로 지금 설명을 해주셨는데 presence라는 것 자체가 그런 존재감이나 영향력입니다. 아르헨티나에서 한국 한류 문화가 정말 많은 곳에서 보인다. 그래서 이렇게 10명의 한국 배우들의 주목하라 라고 하는 그런 기사가 나왔다라는 거죠. growing presence, 점점 커지고 있는 영향력. 자, 이렇게 해서 오늘 표현 위주로 살펴봤습니다. If you'd like to check those again, you can do so by coming to either our website or checking the audio 어학당 and YouTube. 자, 모닝 헤드라인 expressions는요, 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다.